The night air was thick with a damp chill as Ethan Cole trudged along the deserted road, his boots crunching against loose gravel. The village had been quiet, too quiet, and the old directions given by Mr. Greaves had led him here, to the outskirts where the forest pressed close. Through the fog, the silhouette of the house emerged, a crooked Victorian relic with spires that clawed at the night sky. Its windows were blind, except for one faint, flickering light within, as if someone, or something, was already awake inside. Ethan paused, his hand tightening around the strap of his bag. He remembered Greaves's words in the antique shop. Some mirrors are not made to reflect. They're made to keep. At the time, Ethan laughed it off as a strange old man's cryptic warning. But now, with the looming house staring down at him, the phrase returned with a sting of dread. The gate shrieked as he pushed it open. The garden was overgrown, strangled by ivy and weeds, the path nearly swallowed whole. He could hear his own breath, quick and shallow, louder than it should have been in the silence. Each step toward the front door seemed heavier than the last. And yet, curiosity, or perhaps something deeper, pulled him forward. Ethan reached the steps, lifted his hand to knock, and froze. For in the dark glass of the window pane beside the door, his reflection was already waiting. Ethan's heart pounded as he stared at the glass. His reflection, no, something else, hovered a second too long, its lips tugging into the faintest grin before snapping back into place. He staggered backward, shaking his head, convincing himself it was just exhaustion playing tricks. The fog, the shadows. Maybe his mind wanted to see things that weren't there. But when he turned back, the front door was already ajar. A single strip of warm light spilled from inside, cutting across the overgrown path like a blade. He hadn't touched it, yet the heavy wood had given way as if welcoming him. On the step lay something that hadn't been there moments before, an old brass key attached to a leather cord, glinting in the weak light. Ethan crouched and picked it up, the metal shockingly cold against his skin. The key's ornate bow was shaped like curling vines, but the teeth, jagged, uneven, looked wrong, like shards of glass forced into place. He felt a chill run through his chest as he remembered Mr. Greaves again, the gaunt shopkeeper pressing the cord into his hand earlier that evening. The key belongs where it always has. Do not lose it, and do not use it lightly. Ethan had thought Greaves meant the antique trinkets in his shop. Not this. The door creaked wider, groaning like a voice awakening from slumber. Beyond it stretched only darkness, broken by the glimmer of countless shapes, like faint mirror glass catching the light. Waiting, Ethan stepped forward, and the door slammed shut behind him. Ethan stepped inside. The air was cold, heavy with dust. His breath fogged as countless mirrors lined the hall, each reflecting not only him but slight, impossible differences. In one, he blinked too late. In another, his scar was gone. Ethan leaned closer to a mirror, heart racing. His reflection froze even as he moved. Then, with a sickening lag, it tilted its head the wrong way. Behind the glass, a tall, cracked figure loomed, watching, grinning wider than humanly possible. Ethan raised a trembling hand toward the mirror. The glass felt warm, alive. His reflection didn't follow. Instead, a cracked mercury hand pressed from the inside. Fingers too long, nails sharp, scratching faint lines across the surface. Whispers bled from the mirrors, soft at first, then layered, hundreds of voices overlapping. They called Ethan's name, some in his own voice, some in tones he didn't recognize. The glass shivered, fogging over, faces pressing out, then fading. The whispers swelled, twisting into screams that rattled Ethan's chest. Every mirror shrieked with distorted voices, his name tearing through the air. Reflections pounded fists against the glass, their mouths stretched wide in endless, silent agony. Ethan bolted down the hall, boots thudding against rotting boards, but every turn ended in more mirrors. The corridor bent impossibly, folding in on itself. His reflection raced beside him, grinning wider with every step, closer than his own shadow. Ethan froze before a cracked mirror. His reflection was gone, replaced by Nora. Her lips moved, but no sound came. She reached out from behind the glass, eyes wide with desperate warning. The mirror pulsed like water, begging him to step closer. Ethan's hand trembled as he pressed it to the glass. It was warm, too warm. The mirror pulsed beneath his palm like living skin. Nora's hand met his from inside, but her eyes shifted in terror, fixed on something rising just behind him. The mirror quivered violently. Suddenly, a jagged hand burst through the glass, shards flying like knives. Ethan stumbled back as icy claws slashed the air where his face had been. Nora screamed soundlessly from within, pounding against the prison of glass. Ethan sprinted through the shattered maze, glass crunching beneath his boots. The wraith's claws scraped the mirrors, shrieking like metal on bone. Every reflection twisted against him, dozens of grinning Ethans, eyes hollow, chasing as if possessed. Ethan stumbled into a vast chamber where mirrors stretched to infinity. No doors, no exit, just his face, multiplied 1,000 times. But none were his. Each reflection sneered, their mouths whispering words he couldn't hear, closing in like a living tide of glass. The mirrors trembled as the wraith emerged fully at last, its monstrous form towering, stitched together from shards of broken glass. Ethan faced it, breath ragged, fists clenched. Every reflection leaned closer, chanting his name in a distorted chorus. With a deafening crack, the mirrors surged forward, swallowing Ethan whole. His scream echoed once, then silence. The hall stood empty, save for a single mirror. Inside, Ethan's reflection stared back, grinning a smile that wasn't his, as the wraith loomed behind him.